Hey, thanks for joining us, Mums at the Table. It's your girl Fiona here to talk all things good and not so good in the world of parenthood with some fabulous ladies, otherwise known as Melody. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yes, thank you. Julie.
Hi, Fiona.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
I always love the red.
Got the red going today.
Rocking the red. Mary Ellen, always a pleasure having you on set.
Pleasure being here, as always.
Good to see you, stunning lady. Now, coming up, to cater or not to cater to the dietary requests of your guests. Should you even ask your guests what they want, or do you even care? Gia and Olive are making a blue smoothie. We get some pocket money lessons, and we'll chat with the inspiring 2019 New South Wales Local Hero Award winner. She's also a nominee for the Australian of the Year Local Hero Award, Sophie Smith. She's turned the tragic losses of her triplet boys and her husband to triumph by helping to save thousands of premature babies. So keep it locked for that and more. But first, a 7-year-old who reviews toys is 2018's highest paid YouTuber, according to Forbes. They've released the top 10 YouTube earners, and Ryan's Toys Review is a YouTube channel that has more than 17 million followers, 26 billion views from people who just tune in to watch this kid open and play with new toys. But get this, the kid has made some serious coin to the tune of $30 million, ladies.
No, that just blows my mind.
You know, just your average salary, I guess.
What do you even do with that amount of money?
Buy more toys to open and make more money.
Exactly.
Which brings me to the question. 7 years old, YouTube, 30 million, exploitation, a little bit? Maybe just a tad, or is that a big call?
You would
Mary
love
Ellen?
it, wouldn't you?
Oh, when I was 12, I had my own YouTube channel and I'd put
Really?
out comedy videos. I wanted to be a big star. So it's been big for a very long time. But like for me, that was an intrinsic desire. Like I wanted to do it. And I think it's probably
Did you do it for the money?
No. I did
You
it.
just wanted to be a star?
I wanted to be a star. I wanted to put myself out there. Of course, I've deleted it since, and it's a
I wanted to
horrific
watch.
memory. No.
I was going to go home and watch it.
How old were you, Mary Ellen?
I was about 12, 13 or so.
This
Seven
kid's
is
7.
younger.
He
Yeah.
doesn't have a say. The parents have obviously pushed the agenda on this.
I don't
Would you
know.
say that? No, you
I
think
don't
that he's
so.
come up with the
I
idea?
mean, he's a toy reviewer. Like, what kid doesn't like toys? And to get money for that as well. Like, if I was a 7-year-old, I think I would do it.
I don't know how it started out because, like, I was just thinking that when we give Elliot toys, right, the amazing reactions that he gets. Sometimes we go, oh, we should put that on YouTube. We don't, but maybe that's just how it started. I don't actually know how Ryan started out. Or was it just an accident, or was it a calculated?
Surely his parents must have had some input. That amount of money requires some management.
But even
greater
you know,
than a 7-year-old.
you've put things up on YouTube before. It takes a lot of time.
Videoing,
These
editing.
people spend like on a daily amount of time, you know, dedicating themselves to filming, to coming up with new ideas.
I don't think I would like to put my children up. I'd be worried that as adults they said, Mum, why did you let me say that? It's out there forever.
That's very true.
I'd be scared that they would not approve of that when they were adults.
The thing that I'm concerned with is that, you know, with YouTube especially, it's a bit like a reality show, and it's just too much of a person's private life to be out there for everyone to see.
And he doesn't have a say. He's only 7 years old. I see the benefit more for the parents in this case, because I actually did some reading up on the parents, and they're not working at the moment. Well, you wouldn't have to.
Really?
The child's pulling in 30 million.
They probably do all the scripting and lighting and editing and everything.
But have you guys watched some of these YouTube earners?
Yeah, I have some YouTubers that I am subscribed to, yes.
Yeah.
And I've learnt a lot, so I think there's some benefits, but at least the ones I watch are adults and they're making their own decisions about what they want to put up there.
Yeah, it's different. But look, truth be told, I still don't get why these people made millions and why people found them entertaining. I cringed through most of it. But in keeping with the theme of making money, an article in the January issue of our Mums at the Table magazine shared lessons on kids and financial literacy. Helen Baker, a financial planning expert, suggests giving children pocket money that is broken up into smaller amounts to place in 3 glass jars. 1 jar for savings, 1 jar for charity and 1 jar for spending. By doing this, they can physically see the increase, decrease, and they can see the amount they can spend and also get an idea of saving and what they need to save to buy what they want, rather than using an ATM card.
Yeah.
Julie, your girls are 20 now. Did you give them pocket money, or did you encourage them to be financially, you know?
Well, I wish I'd thought of this idea. I think it's a really great idea. I probably didn't give my children pocket money on a regular basis, but looking back now, I think it would have been a good idea. One thing I did do was I got sick of the mum, can I have money in the school holidays every second day? So I would give them a certain amount of money at the beginning of the school holidays, and that had to last till the end. So if it ran out in the first week, that was it.
How did that work out?
One would run out in the first week and one would have money at the end of the school holidays.
So one borrowed from the other?
Probably tried.
Do you think the way our kids value money is something that they've learnt from us as parents?
I certainly do. I think our values are passed on, and we don't have to sit down and give them lessons the way we talk about money. They learn a lot from that, I think.
And that's the thing, being a parent is one of the things that kids really aren't taught in school. Like, you're taught to count money and maybe, I don't know about where money comes from, but managing money is such an important lesson a parent should be teaching.
And it's really good information that she's given like, I actually interviewed her for the article, and what she says is really true, because nowadays, you know, when we go shopping and everything, it's just tap and go, tap and go. Kids don't realize that the money needs to come from somewhere, and the money disappears. Yeah. And once it's gone, it's gone. And so when you have them in 3 glass jars, if it goes, it's gone. You actually can see it going or building up and stuff.
Yeah. Young children are very concrete, aren't they? And they need that ability to be able to touch and feel it
and see
it growing, see it going down. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you think that as parents, though, I like the way that she talks about tithing and charity. There's a jar for charity.
I've actually seen the same system done with 4 jars, because at least in my church, we believe that tithe and offerings are different. So you give 10% as tithe, so that's like 1 jar, and then offering is another jar for whatever cause you want to give to. So yeah, it's a good way to.
You talk about tithing, you mean giving a percentage back
10%
of our own.
of what you earn as tithe back to the church or to God's cause, and then offering is like, let's give it to whatever you want to give to.
Well, I do like that, because it means instilling these values in our kids while they're young, the giving concept, because I feel like, you know, so much of the time it's about, Mum, give me money, Mum, so I can spend this on this. But being able to teach our kids values where they can give to somebody else.
Yeah, and I think the giving not only of money, I think that's a really important part, teaching them to give money, but also giving of themselves.
Yes,
and
it just doesn't have to be money.
Doesn't have to be money. Although I think that's an important part. Service, time, gifts, whatever the need is.
Look, interesting insights there. Teaching our kids to be financially responsible at a young age can only benefit them as adults, especially with the rising number of young people in debt. But one thing that won't get you into debt is subscribing to this Mums at the Table magazine. It's free. The mag features some great reads on parenthood, faith, life, healthy recipes, nutrition, and so much more. Just email us with your name and postal ID, and we will send you a free copy each month at no cost. The email is hello@mumsathetable.com. Should be on the screen. I must also mention that our resident psychologist, Colette Smart, she's running a parenting workshop on building resilience in children in Sydney. And it's going to be held on March 19, and you don't want to miss that. March 19, lock it in your diaries. Just visit mumsathetable.com for more info. But now, for some of us, the struggle of getting your kids off to school, let alone high school, is real, which is why coming up next, we have some tips that may help you.
Hello, I'm Laura Bennett. Whether you're a confident kid or maybe even a little bit shy, moving into high school can be a really anxious time. There is more work, there is new teachers, and of course, you're diving into the deep end of adolescence. To help parents prepare a little bit better for the transition, psychologist and parenting expert Colette Smart joins us. Hello.
Hi, Laura.
Now, what is it that kids are really going through at this time when they're moving into high school?
I think we need to remember that change, even for confident kids, any kind of change brings about uncertainty. Even if you're excited for high school, there's always this, with change, there's a sense of loss that happens. And kids can become overwhelmed by the fact that they will be losing some of their friends that they've been in primary school for years. Even if you're in a school where your children have a primary school on the same campus, there's still a whole lot of change that happens. You lose teachers, you lose familiarity, and in primary school, you're the big fish, and suddenly you're not the big fish anymore, you're the little one at the bottom, you're the tadpole. And so those kind of things are overwhelming. And I think it's important to just sometimes remember as parents what it felt like when you were there.
Yeah, so if someone is going into year 7 then, how would you help them as a parent navigate that moment, that change? What would you recommend doing to help them out?
So I think listen a lot. Don't brush off their feelings as silly. Sometimes we can tend to go, well, I coped, and we did, maybe we didn't, but it's important to not brush off how they're feeling. Listen, let them talk through their underlying emotions, let them list their fears, give them downtime to just process, and do things like help them even create memory boxes of their primary school and so on. Just anything that you feel like will help them in that transition phase.
And even from a practical point of view, there's a whole new routine diary that they've got to work out. What can you do in a practical sense to help them out?
So things like, one of the first things you can do actually is the bus route or the transport route. If they're taking a bus or a train, for many kids, you actually absolutely should be doing that transport route the year before or during the holidays. That just takes the scariness out of that situation. Find out if there's neighbours or people from their old school doing that route. Let them practice that. Help them just get to know, go on pupil-free days so that they can get to know the school and the settings and where everything is. Just try and do as many practical things as you can that will help them just get through those early days.
And if someone watching has a really anxious kid particularly, what do you do in that situation?
I think for all kids, but particularly anxious kids, know that it's going to take quite a few weeks, even a term or two. It can take up to 6 months for some children to actually adjust. So don't be ripping your child out of the high school after the first term, because some of them it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And so find out from the school, is there a safe person they can talk to so that your child is then connected with an adult that they can go and say, I'm lost, I'm struggling with my timetable, someone that they know your child may need them. Walk around, show them the big three, which is the hall, where the toilets are, where the office is.
The essentials.
Yes. And then even on days when they get their timetables, in that first week or two, you might like to go after school so that they can save face, because teenagers don't want to look silly, and walk the timetable route with them. Do some things, again, practically that take the fear out of the everyday, make things more familiar more quickly, and make sure your kids connect with their old friends, and they will slowly develop friendships. Have people over. Do as much as you can to start the pattern becoming more comfortable for them.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to have you around when I was during high school, Colette. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Some really practical advice there. Walk through it with your kids. Do the bus or train route, as the case may be, with them as well. And find that buddy, that person they can trust. If you'd like to see more of these segments, find us on Facebook. You can also find the show online as well.
Well, it's a new year, and with that comes a whole new year of events, birthdays, special occasions, family gatherings and the rest of it, which is why we are talking about special diet dilemmas. Who has them? Who hasn't? Who cares? Should you care? Ladies, I'm talking to a whole bunch of vegetarians here, being the only one carnivorous who eats meat occasionally.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to an event and had problems, like with, catering, or do they even care?
I'm vegetarian, but if there's not options, you just make do. I don't want to make a big deal about it. I don't know, whatever else.
You don't
Usually get sent,
I don't make
get
a
sent
deal.
to where the salads are.
There's always something vegetarians can have. I will have fish occasionally, but only because I remarried 2 years ago and my husband will eat fish.
So it's a pescatarian, because I believe if you eat fish, you're a pescatarian. So
That's
I've got
right.
pescatarian,
So
vegetarians, the meat eater. So we're catering to all different types of diets here. So when we go to an event, how does it make you feel, though, if there's nothing that you can eat?
Well, that's the thing. They always have one vegetarian option, but when it's like a buffet or a platter, it's all the meat eaters take all the vegetarian stuff, and then there's nothing to eat.
That is so true.
That is so true.
Which is fine, but
My daughters, because I'm such a hypocrite, my daughters, I'm raising them to be vegetarian because I think there's health benefits and all the rest of it. But I know that when we do go to our family events, being that everyone eats meat, I take a vegetarian dish, kind of thinking of my daughters, right? And thinking, they've got some other food that they can eat, not just the bread or chips. So in that, should we take our own food to events?
I
They can't cater
do
for?
that for Elliot, but there was one Christmas party that I went to a few years ago, and it was really sweet. The guy is not vegetarian, and he doesn't know anything about vegetarianism at all. He knew I was vegetarian, and he freaked out. And he started asking what to do, and we decided that we will bring our own, the vegetarian sausages and stuff. And we said, don't worry about it, we will bring our own vegetarian sausages for the barbecue. But he ended up over catering for the vegetarian side of me because, yeah, it was really, really, really sweet.
I love that.
So I've learned to cook steak with an app.
Love that. Oh,
Yeah.
an app.
Yeah.
Helps you
Turn
cook
over.
well done, medium
Yeah.
well, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Mary Ellen, have you ever catered for meat eaters?
Look, yes. Very rarely. I actually run a small group at my house, and so lots of people come over. I'm predominantly vegan, so I eat vegan at home.
A small group. What do you do?
So a lot of
Like
people come over, and we just have like a chat, like a Bible study, that kind of thing. And a couple of times people have brought like meat dishes, and that's fine. But I don't cater for that specifically. Maybe I should. I don't know. Do you cater for vegetarians?
Yeah, I do.
So
only
yeah, maybe I
because-
should reciprocate.
But I guess it's only because we have a vegetarian, we have vegetarian children.
Yeah,
so I try
right,
and
yeah.
think, oh, well, they're not just going to eat one thing. But what I wanted to say, what about kids? Kids parties? Shouldn't we be catering to all the kids' needs? Like if someone's gluten intolerant
Yeah.
or whatever, whatever the case might be.
And they've got to eat cucumbers or something. Like, what are you supposed to feed them? There's so many allergies out there these days.
I've got a friend whose husband is celiac, so when they come over, I do try to do something.
Yeah, I think you guys are still very considerate. Are you the host with the most? What's your thoughts on special diet dilemmas? Share your story with us on our social media pages. But now something suitable for any event is Shell's Blue Smoothie that Gia and Olive are making. Let's check it out.
Hi, we're back, and we are back with a awesome recipe for a smoothie, and we call it Shelley's Blue Smoothie.
a smoothie for me.
I'm gonna make a smoothie for you to match your blue eyes. So we're making Shelley's Blue Smoothie, and the reason why we call it Shelley's Blue Smoothie is because a friend of ours had us over a few years ago, and she made us this smoothie. Her name's Shelley, and she made us this smoothie, and it's been a hit in our house ever since. We absolutely love it. I'll tell you what's in it, but there's key ingredients that really make it. So we've got blueberries, 1.5 cups of frozen blueberries. So make sure the fruit is frozen. So 1.5 cups of frozen blueberries. Then we have 2 frozen bananas. Do you want to help me? Maybe you can reach down here. Is that easier? You know what? It's really hard cooking sometimes with kids in the kitchen because, like you can see here, it can be challenging. But I really do encourage you to just keep going with it because the kids get to learn where food comes from, how to make food, and they're more likely to try it. So yeah, just get them to help as much as they can. Okay, so we've got 2 dates, 2 pitted dates. Medjool dates are the key because they're soft. Now this is the key ingredient, the 2 teaspoons of cinnamon.
Mama.
The cinnamon, you want to put that in there? The cinnamon really, really helps this just come together. I don't know what it is, but it just works. So 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I sometimes add more because I love it so much. And I've got 2 cups of milk here, and I'm just using either soy milk. It was me, not the kids. I either use soy milk or almond milk or oat milk, whatever you like, whatever's your fave. And
Mama.
yes, we're going to turn it on now. You're going to help me?
Spill my food,
I
Mama.
did, and Momo doesn't like spilling at all. He hates it. It's one of your pet hates, isn't it? Getting stuff on you, but I'm really glad you're taking it well. Okay, and there we have it. So that's it. That's as simple as that. This and the iced bananas, like the frozen bananas, makes it like an ice cream. You can actually probably freeze this as well, like in little icy pop molds, and that way the kids can have it. They're just dying for some of this. So this is what it looks like. It's quite thick. Is this one of your favourite smoothies? It is. Okay. Can you hold it carefully? Okay, there you go. There's your one. And I love to add some more cinnamon to it. There you go. Some cinnamon, a straw, and there you have it. Your Shelley's Blue Smoothie. Enjoy.
Our next guest is the 2019 New South Wales local hero, and has been nominated for the Australian of the Year Local Hero Award. She epitomises strength, courage and determination. In 2006, she lost her premature triplets within 3 months of their birth and later lost her husband to brain cancer. Prior to his passing, her late husband Ash encouraged her to fundraise for life-saving neonatal equipment and they founded the Running For Premature Babies Foundation, raising more than $3 million, which has helped thousands of premature babies each year. Sophie Smith, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And I just want to congratulate you first for being a nominee with the New South Wales Local Hero Award and also Australian of the Year.
Thank you.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I can't even fathom what it's like to lose one baby, let alone 3. And then you went to lose your husband to cancer. How does someone get over that grief? Or just how does someone wake up in the next morning, live? How does someone move on?
I think, firstly, you never get over your grief. Grief is something that you just learn to live with. And it finds a place in your life. For me, when it was obviously the most devastating experience of our lives to lose our babies one by one over 3 months to different side effects from their prematurity. But when our babies died, Ash and I, we were determined that something good could come from them. And our lives, we felt like our lives were richer for being their parents, and they'd brought so much love into our lives, and there was so much more to them than 1 hour, 10 days and 58 days, which was the length of their lives. There was so much more than just their deaths. And so we really wanted to do something to ensure that their lives really, truly mattered. Yeah, so that's and then
for your boys. See, because
for my boys.
When people some people when they go through these things, it's easy to be bitter. But I feel like with your story, you're helping thousands of premature babies. You've turned what is a bitter situation into a cause that has helped so many families.
I feel lucky that I was able to find something to channel a way to channel my grief, which meant that I was bringing something good out of something really terribly tragic. And it was actually Ash who had the idea to run a half marathon. That was only a few weeks after Jasper died. And Ash said, why don't we run a half marathon and try and raise $20,000 because that's the price of one humidity crib. And when we were in hospital, we realised that a lot of the machines keeping our boys alive were donated and that the hospital relies on fundraising for a lot of this equipment. So I thought this was a brilliant idea and that we would... and as soon as I had as soon as that idea was there, it gave me something positive to focus on. So of course, I was still heartbroken, but it gave me a reason to get up in the morning. I suddenly had a goal, I had a purpose, I had something to do. I needed to, train to run 21 kilometres. How was I going to do that?
Were you a runner before? Did you run marathons before?
No, not marathons or half marathons. Ash and I used to run the City to Surf every year, and we used to do 5K runs here and there, but I certainly wasn't a half marathon runner, so for me this was a massive challenge, personally and physically. And then also, I thought if I want to raise $20,000, I need people to help me. I need other people to run with me. Let's create a team.
Yeah.
So then I had this great idea, and at home I made this. It was the days before Facebook and social media. So I thought, how am I going to get the word out? So I made a little flyer, and I printed out this very sort of amateur flyer, and I posted it around all my local cafes and gyms and places, and then just saying, this is my story, would anyone like to join me and run with me? And then I was amazed. My phone started to ring, and we ended up with 98 people on the team.
Wow, and you raised $80,000 that first time, which is amazing.
$80,000, and that provided 4 humidity cribs, yeah.
I was just thinking about your story and how you've done... with what happened, and you raised all this money, and there's this high point, and I'm assuming that you and your husband supported each other through the grief. How was it like when you realised that he was diagnosed with cancer?
Yeah, well, Ash was with me every step of the Running for Premature Babies journey, and 2 years after we lost our babies, well, 18 months after we lost our first 3 babies, we welcomed our 4th son, Owen, into the world. And Owen arrived as a big, healthy, full-term baby. He brought so much joy into our lives. Of course, we always, we still grieved the loss of Henry, Jasper and Evan, but Owen brought a new joy to us and life was amazing. And then out of the blue, Ash was 35 years old. Out of the blue, when Owen was 6 months old, Ash was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. And he was told that he would probably only live for 1 year. But I think then it was Ash's incredible response to that terrible diagnosis, which helped me, because Ash basically got on with living. He didn't want to, he said, I just want to focus on today and making the very best out of every day that we've got.
So you never considered stopping?
We never considered stopping. Running for Premature Babies was growing bigger and bigger at the time, and Ash actually then had to have a big brain surgery followed by chemo and radiotherapy. He had to miss 1 half marathon because we run the Sydney half marathon every year. He missed 1, but then the next year he was back. And he was amazing, and we went on and had another baby, Harvey.
How are they doing now, your boys?
They're fantastic, yeah. They help me every day. So I think when Ash, we actually ended up with 7 more years with Ash, which meant that, we were able to have another baby, Harvey, and my boys know their dad. 5 of those years were in remission, and Ash was back to 100. He was very lucky to be healthy for those 5 years. And then sadly his cancer returned and we had 2 difficult years.
Did you experience any anger during those times? Seems unfair.
Do you know, I didn't. And I never, Ash and I never wasted any time saying, why me? Because I think that that's a sort of a waste of time, because nobody deserves their babies to die. Nobody deserves to get cancer. There's no... So we didn't. And I wasn't angry. I just wanted to make the most of what we had, and also to know that that even though my story sounds horrible, but it's not. Like, we had so much joy within those years. We had so much love within those years. It wasn't all bad. And while it was devastating when Ash finally lost his battle, and we miss him every day.
Sophie, can you tell us the impact that running for premature babies has had?
Well, so far we've raised over $3 million, and the doctors at the Royal Hospital for Women have told me that approximately 5,000 babies have benefited from that, and some of the very sickest babies may not have pulled through without it.
Wow.
But there's so much more work to do. Our goal is to give premature babies a better chance of survival, and so we'd love people to get involved by running with us, running on my teams in the Sydney Half Marathon, or the Brisbane Half Marathon, or the Gold Coast Marathon, or indeed any event of their choice, and to choose to support Running for Premature Babies and help me give premature babies a better chance.
Amazing. You're doing an amazing job. I just want to thank you so much, Sophie, for being here and sharing your story with us. You are those people that are making an amazing difference in so many families' lives. Look, if you want to get involved with the amazing work of Running for Premature Babies, visit the website below. If this interview has caused any distress, please call the number on the screen. Ladies, thank you for the chat. Love your work, and thank you for tuning in at home. Be sure to share, like and subscribe if you're watching us online. Until next time, God bless.